mean, we've only been doing this for like 2 years.
I didn't see you hit the go live because
I know, but all you gotta do is watch my screen, and when it pops up, that's what we do. We go. But I just don't understand. Every night it's the same thing. So tomorrow night better be a better night. That's all I'm saying.
I'm not on tomorrow.
That's gonna be a better night. I can already tell. Absolutely. What's going on, Don't Unfriend Me Nation? Welcome to the Don't Unfriend Me show. What would be a night if Olivia and I weren't arguing right before we go on? You see, I have a window and we have to go live. Well, we have to check it on Wimkin, and every night it's a struggle. Sometimes,
well, I've never had to look at your screen before. And
but normally, I know, but there's a just giant communication we need to have because you don't tell me that it's up and you don't give me the thumbs up. So then I got to ask you, but you can't hear me because of the mic, and then we have it muted. So it's like, just watch my screen when it goes live, then you give me a thumbs up and we're set. But either way, it doesn't matter. Welcome to the Don't Unfriend Me show. We'll keep our drama in the laundry room where it belongs. How was your day of work there, Liv?
It was wonderful. Thank you for asking.
Sure, honey. Yenny is already passed out, ready to go.
It's hilarious. She lays in the dog bed all day, and as soon as we're ready to go live, she comes up on the cat bed.
Yeah, she's crazy.
She's a media whore.
She is. Folks, do me a favor. Please share the hell out of this. We're going to talk about Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. A little bit of an emotional thing. We're going to talk about the big, beautiful bill. We're going to talk about the Parliamentarian vote and what the hell that means. And we'll break into the Constitution. A lot of people are saying that Senator Thune could go ahead or J.D. Vance could remove the Parliamentarian, which is true or not. We'll find out. We got some other stuff to talk about, and we'll bring it all to you in the next couple of hours. Goal is $300 tonight. Is what we're looking for on donations. If you haven't had a chance, please get there early and often. Share the living hell out of this. We'll be back in 3 minutes.
Hey, Matt, congratulations on your success, brother. And I really appreciate you giving, both sides, and just free speech, the opportunity to have a platform, dude.
Got it. You got it. Thanks for everything you've done for this country, Eli. We'll talk next time. Tell Jen hello, and I'll have this ready in a couple of hours, and you can share it and take a look. Thank you, man.
Thanks, brother.
All right. Bye-bye.
Adjusting transmitter output.
This is the Don't Unfriend Me show with your hosts, Matt, Leroy, Amy, and Olivia. Geopolitics, military analysis, and election coverage. Coming to you live on all major social media channels at The Dumb Show. Honest, direct, unfiltered. We can agree, we can disagree. Just don't unfriend me.
Happy Monday. Hope everyone's doing well. Welcome to the Don't Unfriend Me show. We've got Kitty in house. Dog is out in the kitchen doing something. He missed Hayden all day, so she missed Hayden. Sorry, I didn't mean to misgender my dog. Hope everyone's doing well. Have a good show tonight. So there's something interesting that happened and took place, and I guess we should get right into it, right, Liv?
Sure.
So I want to be very delicate about this. First of all, Maddie just is in, former bassist, current bassist, might be bassist, whatever. Always will be a bassist. Still Point. Good to have Matt here. Nick we'll be doing the vote. I'm going to post tonight. Don't let me forget, Libby, please, vote for Still Point. If you haven't went to the Still Point and done the vote, please do ASAP. But I'm going to post it on social media tonight and see if I can get a couple of other people like Damani and others to help out too. So, so this is an interesting story, and I wanted to start with this because this it didn't start our career on doing this show. That there were several things that impacted our career and started this, but you're really bright, Liv.
That's because it's that. We didn't fix it.
Just turn it down, please.
Okay.
Yeah. Before you open those, will you please just turn down your monitor to almost zero from now on?
Yeah.
I'd really appreciate it. Thanks. It's washing out the show, and I constantly ask, and you don't do it. Thanks. Passive aggressive. That's 2 times. So just begging you, please don't do it anymore. Thanks. Not trying to be rude. It's just every time I got to tell you during the show because it literally makes us look like washed out, and it sucks. Sorry, I don't mean to be cranky. I just there's certain things that the way I like the show, and being washed out is really annoying me. So this isn't a person we cut our teeth. I apologize. I was rude. It was completely rude. But it's just the mindset of the person I'm about to talk about that got me into this. So we had, when was this? Was this last night before?
To be honest, I'm not even sure what you're talking about.
Ohio senator running.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Yes, this was actually Saturday night.
Okay.
That it happened.
So Saturday night, it was Saturday night. So Saturday night, Olivia knows that this happens sometimes. I'll get into a verbal exchange with people on Facebook or whatever. And once again, I am sorry for being cranky. I didn't mean to get snappy. It's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, we got to figure out how to make those darker because...
Just turn it down before you even open the window.
Okay.
The moment you log on, turn your brightness down all the way. If you're going to open up on that monitor with that email program, turn that thing all the way down. That's the easiest way. You'll never have to worry about it again. Cool? Cool. Or just stop using email during the show and use Gmail instead, which you can make dark. So just don't use Outlook anymore. Just use Gmail. Cool?
Okay, we're going to have to figure that one out, but yes.
Sure, just open the URL and go to gmail.com. And then
I'm going to have to, because I have to log into you, though.
That's fine. We can figure it out, but after the show we can do it. Cool. All right.
Yeah.
So anyway, so this didn't start us off. This was way back in 2022. So we were already 2 years in, but this was really kind of the first person I went after with any veracity that wasn't a liberal. And this was like my first GOP MAGA person that I kind of went after. And a lot of people will remember this. And I don't want to call it a takedown because I most assuredly reported the facts, and I still feel very comfortable with what was reported because the one thing I wasn't able to report was the intent because I didn't have a chance to talk to the person. So I didn't think I was going to do this. And then I was like, you know what? I have to do this because I owe the listeners and myself, and honestly, this person at least a reprieve because I can give some insight into where their mindset is. So some of you may know this gentleman. This is J.R. Majewski, and he was a senatorial candidate, I believe, for Ohio. And he has had several returns and attempts, about 7 of them. His mom, I believe, took ill and pulled back out. And then There was some other things that were said on a podcast that he kind of pulled back, then came in, and then McCarthy kind of bailed on him. And he had his funding pulled for the 2022 when he was in Ohio and running. And there was some controversy. And the controversy, and you know, and I have found out that this gentleman runs around in some fairly large circles, and I knew it the whole time. And I knew he had Trump's endorsement. I knew that he rubbed shoulders with a lot of the people who I admired, and I don't care, and I've never cared, because it's not my job to care if somebody is popular. It's my job to tell the truth. So, Leroy and I had Adam on a video, and it was a live show. And then I think I did a recorded show back then, and a lot of people remember it. And I wasn't very kind. And I use words like stolen valor, and I use words like inside the wire, and I used words like a glorified FedEx delivery guy, and I said other things. And I don't regret any of those things, because at the time, with the information I had, I felt comfortable saying them. Would I say them now? No, I believe I've matured over the last 3 years to be a little bit more open-minded to other people's strengths, faults, and otherwise undeterminables. So what happened? Well, there was a post that I made back in 2022 that basically had Blumenthal and Majewski, excuse me, on a post. Sorry for being grumpy earlier. I apologize. That was just, I'm just reflecting. I love you, and I'm sorry. So Majewski, I guess, was tagged in this post from 3 years ago, and this post was nothing. It maybe had 1,000 or 2,000 people look at it, and maybe 50 likes. It's not where we're at now, but it was a small post, and he came on, and I'm going to paraphrase this whole thing, because I'm not going to give you the verbatim, and I'm not going to tell you everything, but I'm going to tell you what happened, what he did, what I did, and just be direct on all sides. So he found this post and came on and said, you know, paraphrasing, even after all the time that I've invested on disproving these claims, there's still people out there who believe these allegations. Now, the allegations are pretty simple. Here they are. The allegations are that he falsified, no, not falsified, that's an incorrect word, misrepresented and was deceptive when it came to his military record. Did not falsify. Falsify is, that's serious shit. That's stolen dollar, felony, everything else, and you're in jail. So he didn't alter his records. He simply stated things that were considered to be highly considered to be an exaggeration. Now, he served in the Air Force. He served his one and done. He was 4 years, I believe. And I think he finished as an E2. And I think his reenlistment was rated as an EC, which he was not qualified for reenlistment, which means that the United States Air Force, at time of re-upping or reenlistment, denied him reenlistment. Now that's whether this is true or not is immaterial. That is what his service records state. It also states that he did not serve in Afghanistan, and he claimed that he did. There were claims that he was outside the wire for 45 to 60 days without a shower, that he fought the war in Afghanistan, when honestly the records state that he never stepped foot in Afghanistan. Now, being that he's an airman, and being the fact that he was on cargoes and unloading from Qatar, it's not and Qatar was a fulfillment station for Afghanistan as well. In Bagram, it doesn't mean that he didn't do that. And Bagram was being built at the time that I'm understanding, and he very well could have been in Afghanistan. But that's very different than being outside the wire. I can tell you that I served in Vietnam because I took a hop and landed in Vietnam. So therefore, I was in Vietnam. That's not accurate. Or I can say that I was in Bahrain on a port call, so therefore I was in the Gulf War, when I wasn't. I could also say that I deserve campaign medals for both because I was there. It's very different. Now, if you decide to go ahead and run a support role or you're on a TDY or you go to a fob and you're working in that area, that's different. But for you to jump off of a plane, throw off a couple of boxes and come back and do it over and over and over again, that doesn't mean that you are necessarily going to receive an Afghanistan campaign medal, but you could, and you could certainly advocate on your behalf to do so. And that's not a simple process, but it's a process that a lot of veterans have done, is they clean up their service record once they're out. And I've had to do it too. There were comments that he was busted down during a rank because, in his words, there was a brawl. I'll get to his clarification once we talked. And it went out that there wasn't a brawl, that there was that he got a DUI in Japan, one of the bases that he was in. And the legal limit in Japan versus on the base were two different numbers. And some chicken shit company commander or somebody on watch basically hit him with the higher limit and blew past that, because off base, on base had two different limits, and he charged him when he was like a block away from the outskirts of the base or on base, and charged him with the other lower limit, which gave him a DUI. A 0.2 is a 0.2, a 0.8 is a 0.8, and both are drunk, and it is what it is. But how drunk is determined by the law and the base regulations and whatever state or country you're in. There were comments that just were more than that, and it creates some animosity and some struggling feelings with veterans when they hear this stuff. So, do I have some sort of animus towards J.R. Majewski? No. Did I present him in a certain way during the show? Sure. And was I hard? Of course I was. So JR reached out to me on Facebook and making that post, and unbeknownst to me, I couldn't even remember. I was like, who? When I read it, I'm like, what is this? Oh my God, that's Majewski. Oh my God. Oh, he's lost weight. He looks good. Right? First thing I said. And then I was like, oh shit, I know what this is about. I said, hey, appreciate you paraphrasing again, appreciate you getting back to me. Appreciate you reaching out. And why don't you come on the show? And if you want to clarify some things and talk about it, I'd love to talk about that. You're more than welcome to come on the show. And then his reply was amicable, but kind of defensive, and basically just said, no, I'll pass. I've kind of, that's water under the bridge. It's been happening. I'm like, well, if it's water under the bridge, why are you relighting the candle? Or why are you, opening up the dam to allow some seepage to come through to turn into a mighty roar? But nonetheless, whatever. And then I think I replied fairly amicably the second time, like, oh, no big, and when he's like, hey, it's water in the bridge, blah, blah, blah. The media, this was all paid for. This was a Pritzker thing. This was my opponent. This was the DNC. This is Kevin McCarthy's a bitch. And I was just like, this is very J.R. Majewski that I remember. There's really, like, it doesn't seem like there's any remorse or anything here where he's like, you know what? I said some things I shouldn't have said. I exaggerated a little bit, but dude, anyway, I saw this, one of my people tagged me in it, and I just thought I would respond, whatever. But that didn't happen. So I just said, yet here you are drudging and trolling the comments section anyway. And then it started to pick up a little bit. So he decided to start, being a little petulant, and, you're kind of buying into, the half-wit Republicans did the same thing. And okay, well, now you just insinuate I'm a half-wit, and that's okay, because maybe I am. I never know who I'm talking to. I mean, this guy could be the next, Carl Sagan or Stephen Hawking or Steven Seagal. So you never know. And then kind of called my podcast low rent. And I'm like, oh, that's ouch. Yet here you are. So, just little things like that. And I just was like, I was just hitting him. I just kept hitting him. You guys know how I am. I just kept hitting him back, wrote it down, hit him back, wrote it down, hit it back. And he started to get frustrated, and I could tell. And every time he said one thing, I went back and I just was like, well, that's not what the records say. It's not what this. And then I made a comment about Freedom of Information Act, FOIA, FOIA, sorry, Freedom of Information Act, which 1972 states, Freedom of Information Act, that you can subpoena anything that's non-classified that has to do with government or federal dealings and subpoena those records. Now, you can subpoena or use Freedom of Information Act to get service records, but they have to redact certain things. And those are very, very important. You can't do social security number. You can't do address or forwarding number, all that type of stuff. So at that point, I did a little more research because it's been 3 years and I was going off memory, and I was like, oh, okay. So Congress did find out from the U.S. Air Force that the records were obtained illegally. Okay. But that doesn't change what the records said, right? So yes, the entire time, even when I called them 3 years ago, I was like, Democrats are pieces of shit. They're dredging you through this because you're GOP, but that doesn't change the fact. It's kind of like, if you get pulled over for a speeding ticket and then they find out you have cocaine in the car, you don't get to say, yeah, but I was just speeding. You caught me for speeding. Why are you charging me with having cocaine? Because you're a coke dealer. That's why. Yeah, but I was speeding. You can only give me a speeding ticket. You can't get me for the coke. That's the problem, is that, yes, what they did may have been seen as entrapment or whatever else, but the argument is that what was uncovered is still against the law. And in this case, wasn't against the law, but what was uncovered still remained true. You didn't serve in Afghanistan. You didn't get an Afghanistan Campaign Service Medal. You retroactively got a medal attached. You had former commanders say things that you were someone that was, re-recruitable, but that's not what your service record says. And you didn't get in for a brawl of why you lost your E3 or whatever rank you were at the time, E4, whatever it was, but you lost it because of drunk driving. Now, and I don't see where it's possible that you were outside the wire and didn't take a shower for 45 to 60 days. And he's like, so that to me is, it may not be stolen valor. This guy may not be claiming checks based on what he did, or he may not be getting free meals or talking on TED Talks, but you're running for public office. You should be under the highest of scrutiny. So if this guy was a normal veteran, would have I got involved? No, it's not my business. But he is in the fray, and he's a politician, and he's going to face the same scrutiny that I give every politician. And this is why I don't run for office, because I promise you there's things in my past that I have said that can be considered exaggeration, or maybe my memory wasn't clear, or maybe I misrepresented the facts. All of those things are possible. Nobody's perfect, but I'm not running for office. So that was his next step, was to go through my record and look at my bio on my page. And he goes on that says I've been a corporate executive for several Fortune 15s, and everyone knows what I've done. And I don't hide anything. I worked for Comcast. I worked for Apple. I worked for Wexler Brands Unlimited. I worked in a capacity as an area leader for California in a extremely lucrative Topanga, Valencia, Bakersfield, and Northridge area, which is a lot of money. And then I worked as a director of sales and marketing for a $2 billion annualized revenue at Xfinity / NBC Comcast. So there it is. So I told him that, and he's like, oh, I didn't know some advertising manager is an executive. So, and I'm just like, this is embarrassing. You're trying to go ahead, and what you're saying now is I did say these things, but you did too. So therefore I'm off the hook. It's ridiculous, because my resume is clear. You can go to my LinkedIn and check it out. You can do whatever. I've never hid from it. So this went on for how long do you think? 3 hours?
Yeah, I would have to say, because we stayed up and watched 24 the whole time this was going on, and we didn't go to bed till 3:10. So yeah, I would say
I was multitasking. So at some point, he went on his page and he put all of his endorsements, from Vivek Ramaswamy to Donald Trump to JD Vance. I mean, this guy had the hit list. I think maybe not Larry Elder, but I think he had Rick Scott on there. And like I never claimed that this guy was not MAGA. I never claimed that he wasn't supported by some very powerful people, but that's not going to intimidate me. I don't give a shit who you're. I don't even care if it's the president of the United States. If Donald Trump walked in here right now and said, "You've misjudged him," you know what I would say? Thank you, sir. I'm going to look into it. Can you specifically point me in the direction on some of the things that I misrepresented? Well, you messed up on this, 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 and this. I'm going to take that into consideration. Thank you so much for telling me, sir. I'll look into it, and I'll make a retraction if I was wrong. That's what I would say. But just because you know Eli Crane, well, so do I. Now, you might be closer to him than I am. I have no idea. But that doesn't matter. And I know Eli would have a problem with someone embellishing their record. Now, I read all the statements. Some of the statements were like, he did nothing wrong. Well, that's great, but that isn't evidence and that's not fact. That's opinion. So all I'm looking at is the records versus the things that he said prior to the record's release. And was it a hit job? Of course it was. Absolutely. Politics is an ugly game. And I feel for him for that. And I think people are pieces of shit for doing it to this guy. He served. And I think he served honorably to the best of his ability, minus some stupid things that he did. We've all done dumb things. I went across the quarterdeck shit-faced before. I didn't get in trouble because I knew the guy on watch. But could I have been docked 30-30 for that? Sure, I could have. So I'm not sitting here playing holier than thou. I'm saying you're running for public office and your military record is up for debate and therefore needs to be discussed. So I had never heard him really like dive into it and explain it. I've watched him on Tim Pool's podcast. I've seen him on other podcasts. And it's always, they're out to get me. This is a witch hunt. This is, and I'm just like, fuck that, dude. You can't even say you've done anything wrong. You literally just blame everyone else. You don't take any responsibility. Even one thing, you could have said, you know what, I could have done this better. I could have said this instead of this. Anything. Just show some freaking remorse or at least some retrospective resonance that you've learned something from this. Nothing. So we just kept going back and forth, trading barbs, and I'm a low rent podcast, blah blah blah, and I'm laughing my ass off, and I'm like, I'm doing pretty good, man. I'm making a living off this, but that's okay. And then he said something, and I don't know what it was, but it was the way he said it. Oh, I know, it was the Freedom of Information Act. He's like, I'm going to say this one more time. The FOIA was not done correctly. It was Congress. I said, okay, fuck it. I'm going to look it up. So I put him on hold and I look it up and I start reading and I dive in and I go in and I go, okay, this is an updated piece of information. So then I replied, hey, timeout. Obviously, I didn't have that piece of information since 3 years ago, and I really haven't even looked at this since then. I saw that you were running, in like 2024, but I didn't pay any attention because it was over. I spoke about you. I said those things. They were in the past, and I moved on. And I don't have anything to say other than that. It's in the ether now. Who cares? And if you've done something else since then, I'll talk about that. But I'm not going to talk about your service record anymore. It's been done. It's over. You have a right to run for office. You have a right to be forgiven for what you did. If you show contrition, you really do. If you haven't, well, that's on your soul, not mine. So the last portion of that, when I said that, he's like, it's okay, dude. I've been through this before. You kind of like, I'm sorry if I jumped down your shit, and you're not a low rent podcast. I think he might have said, I'm watching it right now, or he's seen it, or he's went through my website, whatever it is. It doesn't matter. I don't care. I don't need his endorsement. And then I'm like, okay, you know what? This needs to stop. So I said, hey, listen, reset. You need to come on my show. And the reason why is because what you just said right there, he wrote this long retort, and it was literally, hey, I had people representing me. I had AP and Politico on my ass every hour demanding me answering things. I had people, marketing departments representing me. I had people on my Facebook social. I wasn't even running it. Things that were said that I didn't say. And I'm like, okay, all right, now I can understand, because you're actually being human. You're actually demonstrating, not that it's everybody else's fault, but you're actually showing a little bit, maybe not remorse, but there's a little contrition there. And you're admitting that you could see how the public could feel this way and how I can feel this way, but this is why you feel this way, and I didn't mean to. Okay, well, that's something we can build off of. And he comes back and he's like, listen, I'm doing a new job, and he's working in the nuclear field, and good for him. That's great. And he just says, hey, maybe we can have dinner. I'm in DC. And I said, sure, would love to have dinner with you. And whether that happens or not is immaterial. What is important is the following words. I don't know J.R. Majewski. I don't know anything about him. I know if you go digging for trash, you most assuredly will find it on everybody. And if you go looking up the worst, you will find the worst. So can I say that this guy is a shitbag for the rest of his life? No, he's not a shitbag. He's MAGA. I don't agree with some of the things he said about J6. I don't agree with his participation in J6. I don't appreciate some of the things about his service record. But what I do appreciate is that he fights voraciously. And he fights with a passion. And he showed me a side of him that I didn't know existed, which is a side that has some regrets. A guy who was extremely burned by these political runs and was treated with disdain and was treated horribly. And people took advantage of it because he responded like most alpha guys will. He came at him head on, when instead of tilting, maybe he should have withdrawn a little bit. Instead of going full force, he should have maybe, had a little bit of, let the PR department work for him a little bit, let those endorsements work for him a little bit. But I don't have any ill regard towards Mr. Majewski. I hope that he has the utmost happiness. I'm sorry to hear about his mom, and I'm sorry to hear that it was tough for him. I think all of us could be in that position under a microscope, and after getting interviews 16-hour days, 18-hour days, you can make a mistake. And if your story isn't absolutely exact, you're going to get blasted. And that's why I don't run for politics, because there's too much of my service record which could be misconstrued. There's too many things in my past that I can't remember perfectly, and I know that I will be destroyed by the left media. I just know that, because I'm ripe for it, because I don't keep anything hidden. I tell you guys everything from my youth and molestation to my addiction to opioids to my family to CPS. I mean, I'm just open. And that's all out there. And I also know that my jokes and my humor runs on the borders of what people would say is racist or prejudice, but I'm equal to everybody. I'm an equal opportunity hater. So the end of this is this, and Libby, thank you for letting me do this, is that I don't hold him in any other way than he's a human being, that he may have made a mistake or two, and he's paid for those mistakes in spades. Stolen valor, I regret it. And I think there needs to be something besides stolen valor, because stolen valor is somebody who puts medals on their chest. Stolen valor is somebody who alters their records.
Embellishing valor, maybe.
Yeah, I think the term in the military would be stop being a shitbag, right? You did enough. But the problem is that when you get into politics, you got Navy SEALs and special forces, and there's people who might think, oh, well, I unloaded airplanes. I don't give a shit. I'll be honest with you. I have found a tail gunner. I've talked to SEALs. I've talked to Force Recon, Delta, IDF, British SAS. I have spoken to just about every special forces commando on the planet. And I've spoken to pretty much every intelligence agency. And I'll tell you, one of the most interesting conversations I ever had was with an Air Force tail gunner on a chopper. One of the most interesting things I've ever had a conversation on. So who cares? But this is the thing. People want to embellish what they do. So good for Mr. Majewski. I'm glad he's happy. Maybe he'll enter politics again. Hopefully we'll have dinner. If we don't have dinner, then so be it. Hopefully he'll come on the show, because I think he needs to tell this story. People need to hear it. It's that important. And not on my show because I'm a low rent podcast, but because if people were challenging my honor and my integrity, you're damn skippy. I want to go ahead and address it. And I hope he does. But either way, he deleted, he started attacking me, and he deleted it off of his page. And I'm like, I'm not going to delete the one I wrote about you because I still mean it until it's proven otherwise. And although I still believe that he embellished his record, and I do believe that those things aren't consistent, and I do believe whether it was a PR firm or some idiot who spoke on his behalf, it still happened. And you have a responsibility to own it, and you didn't. So I can live with that. He can live with that. He denies it. I accept it. But it doesn't mean that I can't put my hand in his hand and I can't give the guy a hug and say, good for you. I hope you're doing well and God bless, which I ended it with, and he did too, and we'll see what happens. So there is an update 3 years away, posthumous from his run as senator, and that's it. Okay. So there's the story of J.R. Majewski, and I
why
hope
we stayed up till 3 a.m. on Saturday night.
I am too. Bubba donated $5 for the Mo. For the Mo.
I don't know.
I don't know either. All right. Well, let's get to it. We got a long night tonight, but I felt that I would at least take, and I hope he watches that. And I figured I'd take the first 30 minutes of the show and really, because I wouldn't feel right if I didn't say something, because, you know, he came on and he fought valiantly. He stayed in there with me. I mean, he got a little lowbrow, but that's okay. He tried. He tried.
Look who's back.
Look who's back.
Back again.
Bobby.
Yes.
See,
we missed
Bobby
you.
donated $51.99. Did you miss me? Yeah, duh. It's been too long. All right. Anything major come out of that? Any questions or comments or whatever?
No, James Cody was really the only one who had a question because he didn't know who he was.
Oh yeah, he ran for Senate in Ohio in 2022, yeah. and again, I don't know. He ran for some other stuff. I don't know.
I remember talking about him.
Yeah, I mean, we hit him pretty hard, but I hit all guys like that hard. Deidre Daly donating $100, kicking off the week, ending the month. Holy shit. Thank you, guys and girls. Oh, that's needed.
Last day of the month.
That's needed. We need it. Thank you so much. That's huge. All right. Well, we got a lot to do, so let's get to it. I want to say thank you to everybody for helping, donating. It's good to have you here. I hope you guys like the story. I'll say one more thing. I think this guy and I could be fast friends. I really do. Jeff Oliphant donated $21.10. Thank you, Jeff. You're a good man, Jeffrey. I think we'd be friends. There's plenty of liberals and Democrats that I could be friends with too. I don't care about what he did. I don't care about what he said. I only care about who he is now. And everybody deserves forgiveness. Everyone deserves a reprieve, and that's his. All right. Are we good on donations? Can we get going?
We can
All right.
Going.
Thank you. 178.09, folks. That makes a lot of stress less. We were talking about something on Friday. Liv, you remember we were talking about politicians being born in the USA?
Yes. Yes.
This is put very well.
Why do we have people who...
This gentleman is, I don't remember his name. Doesn't matter. He's a podcaster. I've seen him before. He gets fast and loose with the language. So do I. I don't care. That doesn't bother me. Here is his comments, and I thought they lined up with what we said fairly well. Enjoy. The language is a little colorful, folks. So if you don't want the language, or this is on speaker, maybe turn it off.
Why do we have people who weren't born here allowed to serve in our government? They come in and try to make our country like theirs. Well, if that's the case, then fucking stay where you came from. It's a huge problem, and nobody wants to say it for what it is, bro. If you're not a natural-born American, you should not be fucking serving in our government. And people will say, well, the first founding fathers were all from fucking England. Yeah, that was fucking 250 years ago. We have our own culture here now. Allowing people from other places to move here and then make decisions about this country. In Ilhan Omar's case, make public declarations of her loyalty being to the people of Somalia over the people of the United States. It's a huge problem.
I 100% agree.
Yeah.
Why do we have people who...
I can't possibly disagree.
I said it first, though.
Yeah, you did. You did say it first. And honestly, you brought up the whole thing, and I had to think about it for a while. I mean, I believe that there should be a statute of limitations for somebody's background or their geographical birth. And if they come here and they serve 15 years in the United States and they pay their taxes and they get married, and, you know, there has to be some sort of threshold. I simply can't, because native born isn't necessarily, you can argue that many different ways.
Yeah.
I think there's people who are amazing immigrants who've done amazing things, even if they're going to create a new party if the big, beautiful bill passes, like Elon Musk.
I think it'd be the same rules as the president.
I don't disagree with you, and I agree with him. And here's the thing, is that gentleman, I also want to mention Matty Wack from the Burn Pit podcast from Spreely Network. Matty is fighting cancer, and I don't like Matt. I think he's obnoxious and he doesn't like the Jews, and he lives for that. But you know what? Once again, I find value in who he is as a person, and the Burn Pit guys have always been very nice to me. And just because I don't like the guy doesn't mean I wouldn't stand shoulder to shoulder with him. And I certainly hope him the very best in his struggle with cancer, because that fucking disease is horrible. So I wish him the very best, even if we just disagree. But he reminds me of this guy, and I just think Matty is too fucking smart to say things that are so stupid sometimes. But that's just a difference of opinion, and I don't like those opinions. But I hope that he recovers fully, and those guys are too good. So I just want to do that. But I agree with him on this.
Yeah.
And if you take a look at the mayor from New York we're going to talk about tonight, you take a look at Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib, and you take a look at these people who are just absolutely all about destroying the United States. I mean, if you burn the American flag and you're a protest activist and then you go and run for office, I mean, are you not somebody who is labeled exactly as a terrorist should be?
Exactly.
If you believe the destruction of the United States is more important than the sovereignty of the United States and the continued success of this country, well, then you're a fucking terrorist. I mean, isn't that what that means?
Yes.
Okay, so you and I agree.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, if you show any disdain to the country, why are you trying to run the country?
Well, right, especially as much power as you have.
That means you're trying to change it.
Yeah,
and we don't want to be changed. We want America to be America. We don't live in Somalia for a reason. We don't live in England for a reason.
Right.
We don't live in frickin' Mexico and Venezuela and El Salvador for a reason.
Did you get your little Mexican out in you? El Salvador. That's what you just did. You're like, El Salvador.
I don't even speak Spanish.
Like my pot of gold. Like at the end of the rainbow, I went to go and get my El Salvador.
What was that?
That's what you sounded like. Go listen to the replay. Sound like you were an Irish person. Like, El Salvador. All right, get to get El Salvador. Good thing to be gold. It's going to be a fun day. Cannot wait to do it. Oh, get to Pakistani. Do that too. Anyway, I completely agree with him. I think it's fantastic. All right, now, next thing. Yeah, we're going to talk about Coeur d'Alene, Idaho in a little bit, but it's a very long segment, and it's going to take a while. So we're going to hold on to that. You guys are awesome. Thank you for the donations tonight. It feels really good to get to them early, so I don't have to stress about it. It makes me happy. It makes me giggly in the right spots. Okay, so you guys know the big beautiful bill. It had a procedural vote. We reported on it. Joanne Lutman donated $50. Happy Independence Week. Thank you, Joanne. God bless.
Yes, I had a pedicure yesterday, and my toes look like
a pedicure.
A pedicure.
Oh,
and my toes look like low flags.
Show your toes. Debbie will donate money.
I took a picture. I'll send you.
Is Hensley here?
Yes, she is. She already asked.
Throw them to me. Come on, let's go.
You actually want my feet?
Or show me the pic. One of the okay. First of all, I have a foot fetish, and you know this. So if you ask me the question, "Do I want your feet?" The answer is always yes. Second, I just would like a picture, or you can throw them up on the wall, on the table, and we'll zoom in, and we'll be happy day. I mean, seriously, just get to it. Come on. OnlyFans foot account.
Gonna be better on a picture. You're not gonna be able to see it.
Okay, I'm ready.
Camera.
You got the picture?
Yes, I just texted it to you. Might take a minute. My phone's been acting.
Nope, it took. Wow, look at those. Aw, so cute little toesies. Look at those little toes. God, they got the stars really well.
Yes, I was very impressed.
Was she Vietnamese?
Uh-huh.
Of course she was. This is great. Those are cute. Look at little feet.
Yep.
Those are adorable. You look great. How much did that cost me?
$50.
$50.
It's a spa pedicure deluxe. I get like the hot wax.
She never gets pedicures, and I'm like, on Sunday, I'm like, why don't you go get a pedicure? We built the studio. You're exhausted. Go get a. She's like, oh, really? I'm like, yes. And she's like, okay.
I am never gonna miss a chance to get a pedicure. A pedicure and a massage. Anytime I'm on board.
Maureen wants to know if there's a show on July 4th. Well, since my kid's not going to be here, why not?
Well, I don't know. We need to talk about that. I don't know if there's going to be one.
All right, we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
Why?
Because apparently one of us has got to be chaperoning niños and niñas.
That's fine. You can go do that. I'll go. So, I'll do a show. We'll figure it out. We'll have a conversation. We'll figure it out. But usually we could have a truncated show, and everything doesn't really start getting kicked off until 9 o'clock anyway.
Yeah. So, well, it's
Chris goes, keep the photo up. I'm sure the donations will roll in.
If we actually want a parking spot and don't want to park 3 miles away, we actually got to get there somewhat early.
Deborah goes, oh my God, that was so good. LMAO. Money. My wife's feet. Listen, our integrity is for sale. All right. So you guys know that the procedural vote on the Senate, procedural vote is this. It essentially moves the bill forward out of the House and it allows the Senate to go ahead and propose amended ideas or removals from the bill and then has to go back to the House. So no matter what, Democrats are going to do that because it's a stall tactic. That can only happen so many times. It can't just keep getting kicked back, forth. So this is do a pre-recorded show, maybe. So this is a pretty huge thing. And the big, beautiful bill is there. And a lot of people are flipping the hell out right now. So I've got a couple things to say. First of all, Senator Marsha Blackburn came on and she wanted to talk about Medicaid. Now, this is important, so listen up. The vote was 54 to 46 or 56 to 44. I think it was 56 to 44. Liv, you listening?
Yes, 56 to 44.
To move forward with removing like 1.4 million illegals that were on Medicare at the taxpayer's dime.
Okay.
And it didn't pass. So everyone's flipping out. These are traitors. Can I just explain something to you first and everyone just relax? Mm-hmm. Now, I'm not saying that this is okay. I'm not saying illegals should be on Medicare. I'm not saying illegals should get free health insurance. Listen to what I'm saying. Take a second, take a breath, and take the years that we've been together and know that I'm going to bring two perspectives to this. And I want to tell you why some of the Republicans said nay.
Nay.
That's right. So let's watch this, and then I will explain it so you can understand. And not that you're, okay, that sounded very degrading. So I'm going to explain it in a simple little way so your little brains can understand it, okay?
Layman's terms.
The reason why is that the filibuster is a bitch. And this requires 60 votes to pass.
Why?
Because this is a national issue and this affects every single state. So there has to be a majority from the filibuster, which is a 2/3 majority to make this pass. That's 60 people. It's actually 66, but it's not quite a 2/3. But essentially you need 60 votes out of 40.
Got it.
So 4 people voted nay. So therefore it didn't pass. Now, I care about that. And I don't think 1.4 million illegals should be on Medicare. I don't think 1.4 million illegals should be in this country.
I don't think illegals should be on anything that is taxpayer funded.
Well, you might change your mind after this, okay?
Okay.
So let's watch this from Marsha Blackburn. Then I'm going to tell you why it was voted against by some Republicans. Here it is.
Millions of vulnerable Americans, including the disabled, elderly, and low-income children, depend on Medicaid for vital health care services. But waste, fraud, and abuse are pushing this program to the point of insolvency. According to one estimate, there were more than $1 trillion in improper payments over the last decade. To protect Medicaid for those who truly need it, this corruption must end, including by removing the 1.4 million illegal aliens who are currently exploiting the program. My amendment would close a loophole that allows illegal aliens to receive Medicaid coverage for up to 90 days by blocking federal taxpayer dollars from funding benefits for prospective beneficiaries until their citizenship or lawful presence is verified. I urge a yes vote on this amendment, and I ask for the yeas and nays.
Okay. So, I will be completely honest. If I was there, I would have voted yay. let it pass, and I would propose Senator Blackburn's legislation and support it 120%. But there are repercussions to this, and it's not just to California, it's to all 50 states.
Okay.
We already are cutting a very large portion of Medicare, Medicaid, that's going to impact rural hospitals. Whether it's fraudulent or not, or whether people who are on it or not, that Medicare subsidy that the government gives these rural hospitals, a lot of them are going to close. There's about 300 some odd rural hospitals right now by the big, beautiful bill, which will ultimately close. Now, this is free market. You can't continue to boost up these healthcare industries who aren't necessary. And if you can't sustain in a healthcare industry in a rural town, well, then you shouldn't be there. And they should go to out of county or across the border or go to a bigger city in order to get the healthcare they deserve. Otherwise, they go to a TRICARE or an emergency room or wherever else it may be. Fine. And in order to save trillions of dollars on this shit, I'm fine with it. Let the battle of the bands commence, so to speak. However, this can have ramifications. If there are 20 million illegals in this country right now, and let's say 1.4 of them are spread out across the U.S., how would that impact hospitals? Think about it.
Well, if an illegal alien goes in and they don't have insurance, they're not going to be able to pay.
So what happens?
The hospitals float in the bill, which means prices go up for the rest of us.
Right. On Medicaid, that's what that would be. Your prices, essentially, Medicaid subsidizes the hospital based upon the program that we have and gets group rates, so to speak. So whether it's a 60 or 70% discount, and because it is national law, no matter who is at your front step, you cannot deny care to anyone, no matter how much money it is. So if somebody shows up with a bullet wound in their chest, you have to take care of them. But if they have Medicaid coverage, that is going to be able to be subsidized by the government and will be at a cheaper cost. If it's not subsidized by the government, you're going to be paying 100% of that. And guess who pays that? You.
So what's cheaper?
It's cheaper.
Paying taxes for Medicaid or?
Paying taxes, Medicaid by far. In this case, because what would happen is it overwhelms the hospitals. Hospitals are going to get absolutely freaking crushed. Now, do I believe that's necessary? Fuck hospitals. I think hospitals are the most horrible, unethical racket on the planet. I believe in multi-state solutions. I believe you should have private industry. I believe you should have government-run healthcare. I think you should have tri-state healthcare. I think you should have a national healthcare program, a state program, a city program. I believe that companies should be able to join together and to get bigger discounts. I think there should be options out the ass, just like with education, but there's not. So if it overwhelms the system and everyone has access to this care without having discounted rates, these hospitals would literally go bankrupt. Now, I don't care so much, but now when you have rural hospitals and then you have larger city hospitals in blue states, which they brought this on themselves. I understand. I get it. But illegals are not just in blue states. It impacts red states too. So we have to be careful. So this is really like, this isn't a simple Band-Aid or having a tumor removed. This is amputation. This is a broad sweeping bill without the study of analytics of how actually this will impact. And in the end, the one thing that is agreed upon on both sides is that this would raise money, more money for every single taxpayer to a level that is completely unacceptable.
Debbie just said 287 rural hospitals closed because of Obamacare.
Yeah. Once again, I'm not in predominantly what color states? Blue.
That I don't.
It was blue. Yeah, and there's going to be a lot of red state closures, but guess what? Donald Trump thought of that, and he's putting a $25 billion earmark in the big, beautiful bill in order to subsidize these rural hospitals. So everyone just calm down. Donald Trump's not an idiot. Now, where does that $25 billion come from? It comes from your pocket. So this is the thing that we need to understand is, yes, it's bullshit. Yes, what you need to do is deport these fucking people. You need to have mass deportations. That's the thing I'm pissed at. I understand things in the big, beautiful bill, the Social Security, the tax on tips, some of the indemnities that were pulled out. We'll talk about that. What I want is mass deportations. Where are they? Every single illegal should be taken out of our country, no matter what.
Yeah, I'm 100% in agreement with that.
So James says $8,800 for a pneumonia diagnosis.
He said he pays cash for his.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Guys, I'm not saying this is okay. I agree with Marsha Blackburn, but I also understand the other side of the argument because that's my job to bring it to you. Whether you agree or not is immaterial. I'm just telling you what's going on. Debbie Hensley donated $25. Yay, feet. Yay. Thank you. 253, folks. We're going to have a great night. I can feel it. So I'm just letting you know. Now, the votes aren't that far away. What should Marsha Blackburn do? Well, this is what she should do. She should put some political pressure on her peers, number one, in the Senate. And they should find a way to make this a stagnated approach or have a plan in place where maybe it's not 60% or 70% coverage, but maybe a 50-50 split with taxpayer dollars for a year and a half. And then the hospitals actually have to pick up 50% of that also. Whatever it is, the hospitals are making money hand over foot. And for anyone to sit there and say they're not is insanity. Yeah. They can take a brunt of this.
Yes.
But if we have a federal law that states you have to provide care, you can't force them to work for free because that's socialism. That's redistribution, folks. That's government controlled. You can't do that. That's what socialism is. So you can't make somebody work for free. You can't make these hospitals and doctors work for free, no matter how much they're blood-sucking douche plows. Make sense?
Yep.
So that's what happened.
Got it.
Yeah, Ryan Totsky says send the bill to their country of origin, but it's never going to get paid.
No.
Do you understand that just the medical bills alone of $1.5 trillion that this costs would bankrupt like 80% of the countries out there? So you can, I mean, you can do that, but nobody's going to pay it. We can't get these people to take them back. You think they're going to pay their bills? What's up, babe? Have fun. Olivia is taking a Tweety break. This is a good time to run a commercial. We'll be right back. And this is funny. Watch it. This talks about donations. And also, go to wimkin.com. Sign up for Wimkin. Our good friends over there. 9 million users, social media. We have a whole bunch of people on tonight, 163. And that's legacy media. Probably another 100 over on Rumble and Wimkin. Take a listen to this quick commercial and then keep donating. We're doing great. We're almost there. Would love to hit this before we got down tonight. Here it is.
Hi, I'm Olivia Spear, host of The Dumb Show. For 3.5 years, we never asked for donations. But after Facebook demonetized us for speaking the truth, we've had to turn to the one thing big tech can't cancel: you.
I'm Hayden, Matt and Olivia's daughter. This show's never chased sponsors or sold out. We've built something honest, and it's thanks to you.
I'm Ethan, their son. Every share, every dollar, every message, you're the reason we can keep calling out the BS and bringing color back to the world going gray.
If you want to help, we take PayPal, Venmo, or snail mail. You can send it to P.O. Box 2, Round Hill, Virginia, 20142.
Can't donate? No problem. Just share the show with someone who needs to hear it.
Thanks for helping us stay loud, proud, and completely uncensored. You can donate at thedumbshow.com/donate.
You know what happens when you turn the dial harder? You can make a harder grimace. The harder you grimace, the more effective it is.
You tighten it so frickin' I can't do it. I can't untighten
That's
it.
what she said.
That's what she's... Oof. Oof. Coming in with it. Pounded. Pounded. Pound.
Child gets 15.
Ethan, you look like a hippie.
Totally tubular.
You know this is recording, right?
Okay, let's go. Smile. Donate. Don't start with me. Donations. Every time you don't smile, I'm going to punch you in the ribs. Donations. Take one. Scene one. Ready. Set. Ethan.
Break.
Ready. Don't screw it up.
Okay.
Ethan, don't mess this up. Ready. Set. Action. No. Whoa. Director calls action, not some stupid toddler.
But we've built something
There's
honest.
no but there. Why do you've been doing this since you were 2 years old. Try it again.
Just share the show with someone who needs to hear it.
He's so much better than you at everything.
Better at all
Hayden,
of us.
he's just like, even, it's just, go ahead, Hayden.
Thanks for helping us stay loud, proud, and completely uncensored.
That's a wrap. Well done, Spear family. I bet we make no money.
But I'm gonna owe them money without.
Hayden, do your thing again.
Oh, yeah, cut it.
Baby shark, doo 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 doo.
Yes, thank you for all your support. We appreciate it. We are literally $47 away from goal. We would love to overdrive. Thank you so much putting us into the July 4th holiday. Are you off any of the days?
Yes, I'm off July 4th.
Oh, great.
Yes.
So
4-day week.
So we ended on the news of the health kicking illegals off of Medicaid, which, you know, I think that ultimately could pass. It's just a matter that they've got to find, I hate to say it, some sort of safety net for hospitals, which I can't believe I'm saying that. But there does need, listen, just because you have government subsidies, which I disagree with wholeheartedly, of course I do, you still have to subsidize them because they are a part of government subsidies. We can't have the motor industry go out of business. We can't have the airlines go out of business. We can't have hospitals go out of business. And although they're all blood-sucking fuckers, the opposite is, well, you still need cars, you still need flights, and you still need medical care. Makes sense? Great.
Yes.
All right. So here is a vote you will appreciate. The Senate just rejected funding Planned Parenthood, the big, beautiful bill, 49 to 51. This is a massive win for America. Here is the vote, and this one is good. I'll take this. This is a good one, and this is
So
something.
there different votes in the big beautiful bill?
Yeah, I'll explain it in a second.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
Let's go. I did explain it, but I'll explain it again. Here we go.
This vote,
It's playing, I assure you.
on this vote, the yeas are 49, the nays are 51. 3/5 of the senators duly chosen and sworn not having voted in the affirmative, the motion is not agreed to. The point of order is.
So what that means essentially is that it was not agreed upon, and that was proposed by the Democrats to fund it. Well, that's now left out, and that will not be in the bill that goes back to the House. Now, what's happening? Why are they voting on all this? Okay, so this is where we get into what the Senate is doing. Once the Senate passes procedural, okay, the House voted on this, right? Mm-hmm. And the House has a House bill, and they vote on it. Well, the Senate has a chance to go ahead and chime in on what they want too, because they represent their constituents as well, not just the districts, but they represent the whole state. And concerns are different from a state level and a district level. So you have to have representation for both. And that's why you have bicameral Congress, is that you have two chambers to go ahead and make these decisions, one for the state and one for the districts, right? Great. Mm-hmm. So what you've got here is the senators are saying, okay, procedural vote. Do we like the bones of the bill? Yes. Okay, now it's time to go ahead and skin it or put muscle on it or remove some sinew or add some hair and eyes. And that's what they're doing right now.
They're just going through the individual stuff and deciding what's going to be in
and
the final,
adding more.
Adding more and then
or taking away.
Gotcha. What's going to be in the final bill.
Right. And that bill goes back to the House to be voted on. And the House has a chance to go ahead and I believe amend that one time. And then it does not go back to the Senate. I'll have to double look, but it doesn't keep getting passed back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
Got it. Okay.
There will be a final bill, and I believe it's one more time this can happen. The earliest they can vote on Wednesday. I could be wrong. It might just be one and done, where the Senate gets theirs, then the House says, okay, then they send it back, and then it goes to the president's desk, and it gets pushed through. It depends where the legislation is created, whether it starts in the Senate or it starts in the House. But it works both ways, backwards and forwards. It's reversible. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, of course. Democrats are going to stall as long as they can. They just read the damn thing for 15 hours last night or some shit. But this is what a lot of people are asking. I got 2 questions that were sent in by email, and I want to say thank you to the people who did. That means a great deal. First question was, people were worried about Ketanji Brown Jackson and said, well, if she's this bad, and even the Democrats are like literally saying, lady, you need to go off precedent. You're batshit crazy. You need to stop this shit. And that's essentially that's what Amy Coney Barrett said. Even Sotomayor had some choice words for Ketanji Brown Jackson. And even Ketanji Brown Jackson in her statement, in her dissent, wrote that, you know, we should be making opinions, blah, 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 even with a like propagandized and corporate-owned media. And she's like putting in her personal opinions and shit. It's not even precedent. So it's pretty serious. So can we remove her? I mean, can you remove a sitting justice? That's the question, Liv. Can you?
And
it's a lifelong appointment.
I don't think you. I don't know. I don't know. I'll have to look into that and get back to you, sir.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. That's a really good. You're learning. Your intel training is paying off. So yeah, I went through the Constitution, went through precedent, and here are some of the things I found. A sitting Supreme Court justice can be removed, but only through impeachment. It's an impeachment process. And this is how it works. Of course, the power resides with the House because impeachment proceedings must go with the House. A simple majority vote is needed in the House to impeach a justice, just like impeaching a president. There is a trial and a conviction, and then that's done by the Senate, just like the president's impeachment. 2/3 vote in the Senate, which would mean a 60-40 majority, is required to convict and remove the justice from office. So why don't we just remove Ketanji Brown Jackson? We have the votes. Let's do it, right?
You would think.
We don't. Only one justice has ever been impeached. I looked. It's interesting. And I knew this, actually. Justice Samuel Chase, it was in 1804. He was acquitted by the Senate and remained on the bench, but he was impeached. And as we know, impeachment does not mean convicted. Impeach means that there is enough evidence to move forward with a possible conviction. It must be voted on. Does that make sense?
Yep. But he remained on the bench. He never got kicked
because
out.
the Senate said they didn't convict him, right? Just like Trump. Trump was impeached twice, but they didn't convict, so it doesn't matter. It's basically like, I accuse you of this. Okay, well, I'm not guilty, so fuck off. It's pardon the language. But the removal is only for high crimes and misdemeanors, not for unpopular decisions in judicial philosophy. So no matter how salty and tarty the biznatch is, we can't remove her just because we don't like who she is, and that she can't go ahead and define what a woman is. So even if we had the votes, she hasn't done a high crime and misdemeanor. Shirley, I'm getting to it. Gosh, Shirley Butler. So, like, just piranha. I said I'm doing the parliamentary tonight. My God, woman. All right. Shirley, I'm busting nuts. Here we go. So, a lot of people are talking about the Senate Parliamentarian. Do you know what a Senate Parliamentarian is?
No.
It goes back to the days of the Magna Carta and London, England, and the monarchy and crown and the powdered wigs. Yes, that's right. Pomp and circumstance in the theocratic rule of the monarchs. Yes, those douchebag, powdered wig, flamboyant homosexuals in England. Parliament. You might hear them say this. Parliamentary inquiry. Can J.D. Vance directly fire the Senate Parliamentarian? Now, Liv,
yes.
What's going on over there, honey?
Texting Hayden to bring me my hoodie. Because
it's fucking 90 degrees outside. I can't have the fan on.
I'm not saying you can't. That's why I'm getting my hoodie. There's a reason why I didn't.
This is just ridiculous. I like to look at your boobs. Why can't you?
What boobs?
That's a good point. Never mind.
Seriously, what is a hoodie gonna change about than a baggy T-shirt?
Just don't put Skittles in it. I've heard that's dangerous. Trayvon Martin, you know. Sorry. Shirley's like, I was late. It's okay. So. Can J.D. Vance remove the Senate Parliamentarian? I guess the first thing is we'll answer that. Then we'll define what the Senate Parliamentarian is. No, he can't. It's not his job. It actually resides with the Senate Majority Leader, and that would be Thune. And Thune can challenge. Even though the Vice President is a presiding officer, he does not have a procedural tool. He can override the parliamentary's advice on points of order in Senate proceedings. So he can say point of order and go ahead and declare, but it's really rare. In fact, I don't think it's happened since like 1973. And the only reason I remember that is I had the newspaper, because I was born in 74. My mom saved the newspapers for that year. Or it was 75, 73 or 75. I don't know. And it's very controversial. Like the Senate doesn't, like they like the Vice President to not even break a vote, but to go in there and call procedural rules is not a good idea. It creates a lot of dissension. But John Thune could remove the parliamentarian altogether. Leader Thune did so in 2000. Trent Lott did so in 2001 when he dismissed Robert Dove, if you guys remember that. Thune has said as of now he has no indication of firing Elizabeth McDonough. So what is the Senate parliamentarian? Can they remove things from bills? And the answer is no, they can't. They can't just see a bill and go, you know what, I'm going to take that out. I don't like it. That's not what they do. That's not their job. They're essentially like an umpire. They call balls and strikes. And if there's a ball or a strike, you can go ahead and do a replay and challenge it. But overall, the umpire lets you know you ran outside the baseline, or you were tagged out at home, or that was, west of the left field pole or east of the right field pole. They advise whether parts of a bill comply with Senate rules. Go ahead, change in peace, baby.
I'm not changing. I'm just putting on
No,
the hoodie.
take your time. Can you go a little slower?
Oh my God. I am not changing. I'm putting on the hoodie.
It's okay. Nobody's going to watch. It's totally cool. So, just hurry up. Okay, hurry up. Put it on. I'm just waiting. There you go. I am a dick. So, like, if it's about budget reconciliation, that's something they can do. They can do, listen, this exceeds the amount of money that was originally in the bill, or this is going to fund this for an extended period of time where it's not supposed to. So here are the provisions that they can do. It's not as much power as y'all think. Of course, everyone's making a big deal out of it because this is what they do. Everything has to be partisan. Parliamentary reviews bill provisions and determines if they meet rules, like the Byrd Rule for reconciliation. If a provision violates the rules, the parliamentarian advises to be removed or ruled out of order. Ultimately, it's the presiding officer of the Senate, usually the VP or the senator, who rules, but they almost always follow the parliamentarian's guidance. The Senate can overrule the parliamentarian advice within 60 votes, but that's very, very rare.
Got it.
So if they say, well, you also can't fund things for past 10 years, right? So you can't say, for the next 100 years, transgender goldfish is funded. You can't do that. Parliamentarian's going to say, excuse me, I object. Point of order. You can't do that because goldfish don't live 100 years and you're fucking stupid. Her raising the vote to 60 is her suggestion, so why doesn't Thune reject it? Because that's not the way it works. You have the parliamentarian is there to overall represent precedent. They're there to represent the constituents from the state level. And when you have something that is going to nationally impact, you need a 2/3 majority. It's the same thing with proposing an amendment and removing an amendment. You need a 2/3 majority to a proposed amendment. You need a 3/4 majority to remove it. So when you are going to make a national precedent, like every single person has to pay for car insurance or Obamacare, nobody had any problem with the parliamentarian going ahead and rejecting that when it first went across. And the reason why is because ultimately it needed a procedural vote of 60. That's the way it works. Now, if this was going to be that they were going to fund a particular area inside the southern border, that's not going to require 60 votes. But because this is a federal and has national implications, you have to have a 2/3 majority to make this change. Folks, we want this. You don't want to start overriding all of our checks and balances because ultimately Democrats will get in power again. They will get into power again. Can the parliamentarian do anything about them adding stuff that has nothing to do with the bill onto the bill? Yes, they can. And they have an absolute right to do that too. So if they start adding transgender goldfish surgeries, they can say this has nothing to do with the bill. And the overall bill is about funding the government or taxes or this, and you can't necessarily do that. Yes, they can. No, she's not a Senate. She is a referee or an umpire to ensure that the law is followed when it comes to monetization, funding, and proposing legislation. That is not her job. It's the Senate parliamentarian, whether it's a guy or not. It's whoever it would be, has that not authority. They make recommendations. That's their job. They make recommendations. They are an advisor to the Senate, essentially. She doesn't decide. She can say that vote needs to move to 60, but she can be overruled. Thune could do that. He didn't do that. And the reason why is because Republicans want to get reelected. And even though they say they want to defund this shit, they understand how much damage this will do to local states' economies. They know how much it'll do to their healthcare systems, and they don't have anything else in waiting in the wings to back it up. So GOP doesn't want this either. Okay? Did I miss the part how they get appointed or hired? It's a great question. You know what? I would have to assume that it is a position that it's probably assigned by president, and it's a certain term, or it is a lifetime appointment. It's not lifetime. I know that much. Let me find out for you. You know I usually know these things. I have to look it up. Stop. Get away. Go. Leave. Senate Majority Leader, currently a member of the Majority Party. Senate Parliamentarian is appointed by the Senate Majority Leader. It's not elected and not confirmed by Senate. Serves as pleasure of the Majority Leader. It's a nonpartisan staff role responsible for interpreting Senate's rule. That's it. Okay? So Senate Majority Leader decides. Okay?
Okay.
Any other questions?
One just popped up, Carrie, right there. On
just
the
tell me what
screen.
it is.
Is the parliamentarian an attorney or constitutionalist? And then I can't read the rest because your screen popped up.
What is it up on your chat somewhere?
I don't know where she's at. Let me look. Or what's the qualification?
Qualifications. Okay, thanks. Sorry. There was nothing else?
Nope, that was it.
Okay.
That I saw.
They need to have extensive knowledge of parliamentary procedure. They can resource like 3 different manuals: the Jefferson's Manual, the Mason's Manual, and the Robert Rules of Order. They have to have expertise in the U.S. Constitution, Senate or House rules, standing orders, precedents, legislative procedure, etc. They have to have a legal background. They could be a clerk, they could be a attorney, a trial attorney, a public defender, but they have to have some sort of, or a jurist. Most of them are trained lawyers. But a law degree is not absolutely required. They have to have experience in legislative affairs. They have to have a nonpartisan track record. And that's it. So yeah, they've got to extensively understand. No, she's not elected. She's signed by the Senate Majority Leader. Joanne Townsend, $10.80. Thanks, 2630989. Thank you, Joanne. We've slowed down a little bit on our donations, folks. We could use a big one. We could use a couple of big ones or keep going. We love overdriving. So if you haven't had a chance to donate, now's the time. We've got about 40 minutes left. We would appreciate it if you have a chance to donate. Help us out a little bit. Let's see if we can overdrive going into the 4th of July weekend. So that answers your questions, I hope. A lot of people said, hey, I like the Civics 101. We always do this. We like it too. And it's something that we kind of made our bread on when we first started. We would always talk about civics and the Constitution and everything else. It's within our roots, you know. Next video, I guess I've got a couple more before we go into Coeur d'Alene, Ohio. Coeur d'Alene, Idaho.
I used to go on vacation there every year. Almost every year. I loved Coeur d'Alene.
We wanted to move there at one point.
We did.
Expensive.
Yeah, we looked. I wasn't thinking it was going to be that expensive, but holy cow, it's more expensive than here.
I made a video today, and I'm not going to show it because you can go to the website and watch it. Go to Facebook. And it has to do with getting behind Trump and the big, beautiful bill. You know, I think I nailed that video. I think I did a good job. I'm very happy with myself on the work. But this video does an amazing job. This video crushes it. And I truly think that if you want to just be inspired around Donald Trump, this is the video to do it. This is actually pretty cool. Watch this. Enjoy it. It's funny, but also to the point.
Do you remember what it was like when the 2020 election was rigged and stolen? Do you remember all the bullshit stories people told you about how the fraudulent election would be overturned?
Oh, I love this guy already. That's my boy. It's amazing how many people have taken my freaking, you know, I got to say I was probably the only fucking conservative that said those things. Now everyone says it. Oh, yeah, it wasn't stolen. It was unconstitutional. Oh, nice. Including Mark Levin. You know, Mark Levin's been pissing me off lately. Anyway.
Do you remember the symbols of tyranny when fences went up around D.C. for Joe Biden's inauguration? Do you remember watching fuel and food prices skyrocket in a matter of months? Do you remember watching our borders being invaded by a virtual army of unidentified criminals? Do you remember watching our nation get systematically destroyed for 4 years by the Joe Biden autopen administration? Do you remember longing for the days of winning when we had Donald Trump in the White House? Do you remember thinking he was going to die when the bullet aimed at his brain only grazed his ear? Do you remember rejoicing after witnessing the miracle that saved his life? Do you remember celebrating the epic landslide victory in November of 2024? This is what you hoped for. This is what you prayed for. This is what you voted for. So why are you questioning every decision he makes now that he's back in office? God didn't save his life so he could make mistakes. He knows what he's doing. Maybe it's time to shut the fuck up and let him cook. This has been a public service announcement paid for by the Dilly Meme Team.
I love it.
Go Dilly Meme Team. You said it all so eloquently. I remember when I used to not care about cussing, and I probably would have made that. It's absolutely true. Just shut up. Let him do his job. He's doing it just fine. Leave him alone. You don't know more than he does. You don't have the information he does. Just let Trump cook. Let the man cook.
Yeah, that's why we elected him.
That's the new shirt. I'm going to do it. Just let the man cook. It's pretty simple. Hey,
Yep.
Chuck, your books I've got, and I got to get the hoodie ordered. We're trying to have everything done at once. We also want to get the sign signed and everything. It might just be when you get here in August. Give you it then. The box is probably going to cost $150 to ship, but either way, we're working on it. But that is a very, very clear and concise video that says exactly how I feel. Do I agree with everything he does?
Just like IA HealthLink
Shut
in
up,
Iowa.
lady. No, I don't agree with everything Donald Trump does, but I do agree with the fact that I nominated him, I voted for him, and he should be the president of the United States, and he gets to make these decisions, okay? Politics girl, known as Bitch in the Kitchen Who Doesn't Cook by me, has some things to say. And like,
I'm looking forward to this.
man, she gets more and more just like her skin is going to rip off her face any day, and the lizard underneath is going to come out. Politics.
I'm thinking more like Wicked Witch of the West.
She's
not green already.
horrendous. She's just horrible. Listen, a woman in the kitchen who doesn't cook is just a complete waste. I'm sorry. Just here we go. Listen to this. Good luck. It's like a shrieking eel from Gilder.
So I was just thinking that maybe
She's also looking really old.
She is. The last time I saw her, she actually looked somewhat pretty.
No, she literally looks like her soul is just going, like she's trading years, and just they're being removed from her life. They're sucking life from her, kind of like the albino and the six-fingered man hooking Wesley up to the machine and taking life away from him. That just sucked 1 year of life away. Now, please tell me.
For prosperity's sake.
And for prosperity's sake, be honest.
Oh, interesting.
Interesting.
maybe people don't care that Medicaid is going to be cut because they don't know that they're on it.
Oh.
Because 1 in 5 Americans uses Medicaid, and that includes nearly half of all American children and over 8 million seniors. So if Trump's big, beautiful bill passes, all of those people are going to lose access to their health care. And I couldn't figure out why more people weren't outraged about it, why they weren't up in arms about it. And then I thought, oh God, maybe it's because they don't know that they're on it. I mean, maybe it's because Medicaid is called something else in their state and they haven't put it together. Because some states refer to Medicaid as the state plan or Title 19, but others have completely different names. Here in California, it's called Medi-Cal. In Colorado, it's called Health First Colorado. In Connecticut, Medicaid is called Husky Health or Husky C. So you might be like, oh, I'm not on Medicaid, I'm on Husky C. No, that's Medicaid. Just like IA HealthLink in Iowa or MedQuest in Hawaii is Medicaid. You have to check, and then you have to speak up, because I don't need to be on Medicaid to know that defunding Medicaid is a cruel death sentence.
Oh my God, you're so full of shit, lady. I cannot wait to demolish you.
Complete sense now. She's in California.
Yeah, she's an idiot.
For so many people. But with 1 in 5 Americans on it, I'm pretty sure you're going to know somebody who's going to be affected by this. So check if your state plan is included at MedicaidPlanningAssistance.org.
Wait a second.
Either way,
wait a second.
call Congress
Wait
and
a
tell them
second. Wait a second. Wait 1 fucking second. You actually have to go to a site named Medicaid to figure out if your site is Medicaid because it's named something else. Fuck, I hate liberals.
cutting people's health insurance just to give billionaires more money is not what you want. As always, Congress's number is 202-224-3121. You tell them where you live and they will connect you to the senator you want to talk to. And then you tell them,
well, what if you don't know where you live and that senator changes the name of the state that they live in, Olivia? What are we going to do then?
I have no idea.
I don't understand. I don't get it. All I know is I live in California, but my senator, it says he lives in CA. This shit's really fucking confusing. Does somebody want to help me? I don't understand. Olivia, we're not from the state of I don't get it. My grandma, she's in Kentucky, and they say she's a state from KY Jelly. It's really some weird shit. Those homosexuals are taking over everywhere. What do you think about it? Tell me. Olivia, go ahead. What do you think about this?
What about, are we
Bitch,
done?
shut up and get in the fucking kitchen.
I knew that was coming.
to save our lives by voting no on this bill. I can't even believe I have to warn people about this.
I know.
I can't believe how many people are going to lose their own health care and probably don't even know.
If they don't know, then how good could the coverage be? Liv?
Exactly.
Sorry. I mean, come on.
What the Republicans are doing
Nothing a little moonshine can't take care of. Seriously. I can make that bitch look pretty with at least a jar.
to us is insane. And you really have to check.
But also click like, share, and subscribe while you're at it.
Exactly.
Well, do you have anything to say about this dumb hoochie?
She's just stupid.
Do you know when these people get bills, what it says at the top?
No, because I've never been on Medicaid.
Medicaid. Do you know when they go and register, it's clearly Medicaid? When they sign up, it's clearly called Medicaid. When they go ahead and have to send in any type of payment or get any reimbursement, it's Medicaid. When they sign up, they are notified by the state that it's named something different, but it is all called state Medicaid. In fact, it is actually a state law that every state that has enrolled or enrolling a person has to notify that they're enrolling in Medicaid. See, this is the problem with liberals. It's a problem with these people. They're not kicking off millions of people on Medicaid. They always forget to say the word fraudulent.
Yep, you're missing a word.
You're missing the F. Fraudulent. Just like you guys forget to say illegals. Just like you call abortion, what is it? Reproductive health care. That's rich. Just like you call AR-15s assault rifles. You guys are retarded. I'm so sick of liberals. I can't stand them. 169 people on. Folks, go register on Wimkin. Here you go.
Join Wimkin.com, the social media platform built for free speech and true connection. No censorship, no algorithms controlling your feed, just genuine conversations and a commitment to protecting your rights. Sign up today at Wimkin.com and take back your voice. Tell them Matt and the Dumb Show sent you.
Coeur d'Alene, Idaho is going to be up in the next 10 minutes, but first I want to show you. You guys remember that stupid video when it came to Don Lemon and Harry Sasson?
His new girlfriend.
His new girlfriend. Okay, I wonder who pitches.
That's a hard one.
You know what? They probably bring in a third party. They probably bring in like a butch male and they both catch.
Probably.
They probably cuck each other.
Ugh, God.
Ugh.
That's something
I know.
out of my head.
It's just good. Out of my head. Here is Don Lemon.
I'm Don Lemon.
God, dude, wear socks. Seriously.
I don't understand what
it's so gross. It's so gross. It's disgusting. I don't care. Listen, I'm a man. If I put my foot in a shoe without a sock, that shoe essentially is where COVID 3.0 will be created. Just It's disgusting. Oh, you just got to take a shower every day. I take 2 showers a day, and my feet will smell like swamp ass if I don't wear socks and shoes. I don't care who you are. Your feet reek. And just because you're nose deaf to your own stench, it doesn't mean we aren't.
Oh, Hassan and Lemon. Lemon sissy.
Oh, yeah, I like that.
Good.
I like that. All right, here's Don Lemon and Harry Sassan.
I'm Don Lemon here with the breaking news on Iran. Let's go to our reporter, Harry. Harry, what do you have for us?
Right now, we just learned that preliminary intelligence assessments provided to European governments...
Dude, premature balding at like 12 years old, you are going to look like shit in 10 years. Whoever winds up rolling over and having sex with you and gets pregnant, that poor woman or guy, I don't judge. Dude, your hairline is receding faster than Mars.
Indicate that Iran's enriched uranium stockpile remains largely intact. Following Donald Trump's strikes on its main nuclear sites, the People said the intelligence suggested that Iran's stockpile of 480 kilograms of uranium enriched close to weapons-grade levels was not concentrated in Fordow. Yeah, Fordow?
Fordow.
Yeah, one of its 2 main enrichment sites at the time of last weekend's attacks.
Yeah, and because of reports like that, the administration wants to stop sharing information with the Congress because they want to keep it secret because it doesn't seem to be panning out.
Because they got embarrassed.
Yikes. Are you surprised that the administration may be misleading the American
Surprised
people?
that Trump is lying?
Yeah.
No. Can't say that I am.
That's it for the breaking news. More to come as we get more development.
I'm very impressed that Mr. Sissy didn't mention guns.
That's not he's not gun boy. Gun boy is David Hogg. Harry Sassan mentions everything anti-Trump. It doesn't matter what it is. Like Trump could be like, ladies and gentlemen, Trump landed on Mars. And it'd be like, yeah, well, how much did that cost? It doesn't matter what it is. He's just a repressed homosexual. And when he comes out and actually just gets on his knees for the first time, he'll be a much happier person. And I hope Don Lemon broke him in. Seriously, I really do.
I really love their beanbag chairs with the makeshift backs. That's really cool.
Yeah, it's so metrosexual. The whole place just screams 2 guys in a cup.
Somebody needs to mail them a Solo Red cup. Just mail it to them and see what happens. You must open this live on the show.
Paul McCartney and Stevie Wonder did it better. I'm just gonna say, it's not ebony and ivory. It's gay and gayer. Just saying.
There you go.
Gay and gayer.
Yep,
It's like dumb
like
and
it.
gay and gayerer. Can you say that?
Gay and gayer.
Oh, Darren, knock it off. Don't ever say shit. He goes, I think they 69 each other. That's disgusting, dude. God. Oh, his balls probably look old and wrinkled and hairy. Sassan, I mean, dude, look at his hairline. I mean, seriously, he literally is, I guarantee it, in 10 years, he's going to look like he's 76. It's just bad genes, man. It's just, you can tell. At least Don Lemon looks good for his age. Harry, he looks like he's already 45. Like he's going to have a beer belly, 45, no muscle on his body whatsoever. He'll be in a Speedo, and his butt will look like it migrated to his stomach. Ugh. Saggy boobs and all. Ugh.
Maria's comment on Facebook.
What did I say?
Not even.
I can't hear you.
I'm not even going to say it. Write down, second from the bottom.
Oh my God, Maria.
Yes, what is all with the filthy
What is
mind?
up? Lemon just put his juice in that boy's butt. That would sting. I mean, you would smell amazing afterwards, and you would have this lemony fresh scent like Clorox, but God, that had to hurt. I mean, I've heard lemonade being bitter, but oof.
Gross. I do not need this mental image. Seriously. I have my stomach's been upset all day and it's finally starting to feel better. Really, people?
When life gives you lemons, put them in your ass. It's better than a gerbil. Just ask Richard Gere. Well, Don Lemon, Harry Sassan. It's great. Nice to see.
At least Sassan's wearing socks.
At least Don Lemon's hanging out with white people without literally having to take a shower afterwards. Hey.
Hey.
What if the moon is made of cheese? The end goal is seizing the means of production. What is that? Shut up, bro.
That was really freaking loud.
Yeah, it's not my fault. People don't Twitter doesn't regulate its audio. They're just Elon Musk has so many things he needs to fix. Just hire me. I'll do it. Liv, when you hear the end goal is seizing the means of production, what does that sound like to you? What?
Seizing the means of production?
That's the definition of
communism?
Socialism.
Socialism.
Yeah, communist socialist. Yeah. Here is the sorry folks, we didn't lose viewers talking about Don Lemon and lemons up his butt. I just wanted to let you know. That shows you how sick and depraved.
Do gerbils eat lemons?
I'm sure they do. Get a little mid-afternoon snack.
Oh, this is awful.
Can I have a little gerbil and be like,
Hi, would you like to try some new lemonade? I've been in Don Lemon's ass, and now you can too. You can buy Gerbilade.
Gerbilade?
It's bitter to the last drop. Made and squeezed fresh from Harry's the Son's man parts. It's delicious.
What was that at the end?
I don't know. I figured a gerbil would just be, especially a gay gerbil would just. What do you want to?
G formation.
I don't know. Sounded funny to me. Yeah, the means of production. Here's our boy from New York, literally saying the quiet part out loud. I'm a socialist. I am a communist, and I am not going to apologize. What the hell is up with this shirt? Here it is.
Project. It's not simply to raise class consciousness, but to win socialism. And obviously raising class consciousness is a critical part of that. But making sure that we have candidates that both understand that and are willing to put that forward at every which moment that they have, at every which opportunity that they're given. We have to continue to elect more socialists. And we have to ensure that we are unapologetic about our socialism. There are also other issues that we firmly believe in, whether it's BDS, right? Or whether it's the end goal of
BBS, another version of lemonade. Big dick suckers. We love it. Come get some all over your face.
seizing the means of production, where we do not have the same level of support at this very moment. And what I want to say is that it is critical that in the way that we organize, in the way that we set up our work and our priorities, that we do not leave any one issue for the other, that we do not.
James Clemens says, what the hell? James, if you just walked into this show for the first time, that was not the time to walk in. The last 5 minutes is not who we are. I apologize. It's Olivia's fault. She is, she's the writer for the show. Are
you blaming me? Are you serious?
No, I'm blaming this shirt because holy shit, if he clacks off a vest, it might look better.
I wonder if he makes his boyfriend wear a burqa.
Oh, that would be interesting. Really? I wonder if they drink Gerbilade. I'm going to make a shirt, Gerbilade. I'm going to do it.
And only look at what people are ready for, but that we are doing both of these things in tandem, because it is critical for us to both meet people where they're at and to also organize for what is correct and for what is right, and to ensure that over time we can bring people to that issue. The ramifications of victory here is the difference between life and death for so many of our brothers, sisters, and family beyond the binary across this borough of Queens. It's the difference between having cash bail anymore or not. It's the difference between having sex work be decriminalized and not. And with every battle that we fight as socialists, we need to remember what the stakes are and ground ourselves in them and why those stakes are important and critical to us as individuals.
I think he runs an underground prostitution ring. That's why he wants to decriminalize it.
This guy's dangerous, man. Socialism had its time and, killed 100 million people. And he's an Arab. And if you want to take a look at how many people that Muslims have killed, I mean, we're starting to, it's going to change from a million to a big B. A Muslim socialist is like Ted Bundy on steroids.
One thing I got out of that was class consciousness.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, he wants to put it's seriously?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, it's literally an elitist socialist, which is like having a NAACP member who's a part of the Klan. An elitist socialist makes no fucking sense, but it does when you actually look at socialism, which ultimately steals, and the top 3% make all the actual money. But this guy's an elitist. This is what he is. But he claims he is the worst kind of socialist, a socialist who doesn't understand that he's a capitalist. I'm telling you, folks, this guy's dangerous. I warned you. Just remember. And he's probably going to win.
Which is really sad.
Yes.
So sad.
This is a TikToker named Nat Doll. Nat_DOLL. I thought it was cute. I liked her stuff. She's got a cute cat. Not that type of cat. Get your mind out of the gutter.
That's where it's been the last 5 minutes, but okay.
No, it wasn't. No. My mind does not go to Harry Sasson and Don Lemon. Here's this video. It's actually quite funny. This is the day in the life with a new New York mayor. Here it is.
Welcome to a day in my life in Ayatollah Mamdani's new socialist Islamic caliphate of New York City. We, of course, wake up and the first thing we do is we must pray to Allah because we've all been converted to Islam, but we love it. No God but God. Despite Supreme Leader Donald Trump's best efforts, abortions are not yet illegal in the socialist caliphate of New York City. And thanks to Ayatollah Mamdani's free childcare, I have carried all 8 of my pregnancies to term because the basket he gives you when you give birth has a Louis Vuitton bag in it. Thank you, taxpayers. Then I head out to my $30 an hour minimum wage job. Despite my new lucrative salary almost closing the wage gap between me and the billionaires, Ayatollah Mamdani made buses free. So now I ride them every day with the criminals he released from jail and the former homeless people who now live in affordable housing. Then I head to one of the city-run grocery stores. Gristetti's is closed for good, but this one is just as expensive. But it doesn't matter anymore because Comrade Mamdani made sure all city grocery stores can only charge the same price for everything. That's communism. So after cleaning house at the grocery store, I made sure to run down to the East River so I could watch the nightly drownings of the billionaires. Inshallah, am I right?
Sarcasm. Isn't it fun? Folks, 2043, what started out as an amazing night of donations. I mean, it was in fuego. It was like the Biden administration when they were leaving office, moving billions of dollars to offshore accounts. And then it stalled. People are like, well, I'm sure somebody's going to go ahead and close the gap on the $37 that we need. Well, it hasn't happened, folks. We are 16 minutes away. We need all the help we can get. If everyone pitches in real quick, we can hit this. We would appreciate it. We would love to overdrive going into the 4th of July week, but we're patient. We are patient. The earth is slow, but the ox is patient.
Welcome to a day.
Just remember that, folks. Very important. Joe Biden greeted a disabled woman today.
Sure he wasn't looking in the mirror?
No, I mean, come on. It can't all be evil.
I didn't say he was evil, but...
Well, I'm just saying. All right, so here's the video.
Thank you.
He fucking sniffed her, dude. He sniffed her. I'm sorry, but this is not a kiss. This dude, he's going for the sniff.
Thank you.
He is sniffing her.
She's writing you a note, and it will tell you what she said.
I know what the note says. It says auto pen.
Thanks so much. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Oh my God. Give me a break.
Thank you so much. First time I was here. Thank you.
Dude, it's like the Beatles came to town or something. Seriously.
It's fucking people. It looks
I
sniffy.
might be crying if I had to meet him, but it wouldn't be for joyous reasons.
It looks sniffy to me. I'm just saying. It just looked a little sniffy.
Yep.
I mean, because when you go in to give someone a kiss, you come in and you move, but he kind of hung there. I don't think he can help it. He's just
old Grandpa Joe, that weird Grandpa Joe.
Harry Sasson. Joe Biden has a better hairline than Harry Sasson. I'm just letting you know. I mean, it's bad. Harry, he needs Harry Club for Men. It's bad.
He needs to change his name.
He does. Last one, and then we're moving into Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. This is Chicago's teachers union. Go figure. President Stacey.
I wonder if Miss Harry Pitts is going to be there.
What are you talking about?
But you remember the COVID
Oh,
video?
yeah, I remember that. That was a long time ago. Okay,
Yeah.
so Chicago Teachers Union President Stacey Davis Gates. 3 names. Fucking crazy. Guarantee it. Mocks parents by talking with a high-pitched, screechy voice. Says she owns your kids. This reminds me of Holly.
The attack on...
enjoy this. These people are insane, but they do believe they own your kids. These people are nuts because this is the doctrine. This is the Saul Alinsky that your children belong to the world. This is their belief. This is what they truly believe.
The idea of community is exactly the point. Take, for instance, all of the right-wing outrage over my sister, bilingual music teacher and unionist Kat Zamarin.
Yeah, the ox is slow, but the earth is patient is a Chinese proverb. Actually, it might be Mongolian. It doesn't really matter. It's from the movie High Road to China with Tom Selleck and Beth Armstrong. If you haven't seen it, you need to watch it.
One of the speakers at our November rally, she quotes brilliantly and perfectly American philosopher James Baldwin. Baldwin says, the children are always ours.
Always. Always.
Every single one of them, all over the globe. And what comes next is, CT, you think your children are its children. Yes, we do. We do. We do. CTU thinks all children belong to it, and there's socialist conspiracy ideology. Well, I don't know about
If these were white people, you'd actually be able to understand them, though. Sorry.
all that, but we like children. We educate them, we nurture them, we
Groom them.
protect them, we support them, we negotiate for them, we create space for them.
We call CPS on their parents for them.
We even have them in our homes.
We sexually change them. We have them lie to their parents.
But for real, you guys, in community, we belong to each other.
Wait, in community, you blow each other? This must be Harry Sasson and Don Lemon's sister. I don't know what to say about that. Liv, why do they think that they are the parents to our children? Tibetan, thank you. Tibetan philosophy, thank you. Whatever. The fact that I even knew it. CJ Jenkins donated. Thank you for your service, sir. Have a wonderful Independence Week. Thank you, CJ. We love you. Thank you for pushing us over goal. We really, really appreciate you. Thank you so much. Sorry that one took a while to come in.
Probably because they've aborted all of their own children and can't have any more, so they need yours.
God, the claws are coming out.
You know me. Anyone who says your children belong to the world, and I get an opinion on how they're raised.
Oh yeah.
You've seen me react. To that
Olivia
before.
had me destroy a friendship of 30 years because somebody said that to her.
I didn't tell you how to destroy it. I destroyed it for you.
Yeah, you
I
did.
destroyed it for you.
Yeah, Holly doesn't talk to me since. And you know what? You're hotter, so you win.
No, I'm sorry. No one owns my children. You did not carry them for 9 months. You are not paying for them. You have no right to come into my home or tell me how to raise my children. My mom tried after Hayden was born, and that didn't go over very well. So if I've got no problem telling my mom that absolutely not, you don't really have a say in this, I don't have a problem telling anyone else that. So my kids,
wow, you brought up
fuck off.
You invoked your mom's name. Sorry, Tammy, I never said those things. I was completely okay with you raising Hayden however you wanted.
Yeah, right.
These
Sorry,
people,
I dropped the F-bomb I had to. That's the one thing that pisses me off.
Who gives a shit? Thomas Austin donated $51.99. Thank you, Thomas. Gracias, my friend. Appreciate you guys. Thank you. This is the white fragility, DEI. Your get your acceptance of your children and change their diapers. They understand their sexual identity at a very young age. All this bullshit. They believe that you don't own your kids. That the world owns your kids, or they're the world's children. No, they're not. Until you pay for that little shit, they're mine. They are my slaves, and I've got them for 18 years right by the cojones, and I'm not letting them go. So I don't really care. And when I want your opinion, I'll give it to you. And when I want my kid to have an opinion, they'll be 18 years old, and I'll allow them to turn 18. Otherwise, don't give a shit. My kids don't care. That's the way it works. Shifting gears, folks, we're at 390.88, real close to 4. Appreciate your help.
Last day of the month.
Yeah, let's have a great end of the month. Officer Kendall Quarter, may he rest in peace. One of the victims of Coeur d'Alene, Ohio, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. And this was an absolute travesty. If you don't know what happened, a ambush-style attack from an absolute depraved, low-life piece of shit killed 2 Idaho firefighters and injured another. He's 20-year-old Wes Raleigh. He had a prior arrest in 2024. The incident involved him allegedly attacking a woman with a knife, for which he was charged with a felony assault with a deadly weapon. He pled guilty to a reduced charge, a misdemeanor, receiving a sentence of 180 days in jail with 150 days suspended. So 30 days. Had a mental health evaluation, probably was recruited by the left. Social media activity, particularly on X, revealed disturbing content. He posted about his disdain for authority figures, including police and firefighters, expressed radical views. His posts included threats and general hostility towards society. This is the little...
This is why we need mental health institutions back.
Yeah, this is the little fuck stick. And worked for a tree service. We're not going to put that up. There's no point. But this photograph, they're saying that he's a Trump supporter. I don't know many Trump supporters with a pink mermaid on their backpack.
How did they get he's a Trump supporter out of that picture?
Because his parents are Trump supporters, but his parents had restraining orders against him, and and they're also not using his/her pronouns. So this person, if they haven't gendered them, then the media knows this person's trans, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're Trump supporters, but like I said, the media is not identifying gender. So when the left doesn't do that, this person's trans. I want to see the manifesto. He was pronounced dead. It's my understanding, a lot of people thought he had a sniper rifle. My understanding is he had a shotgun. So this was a lot more close and intimate than we originally thought. I can neither confirm or deny whether it was a shotgun or wasn't. Here is a clip from the county sheriff, and he's going to talk about it. Obviously very shaken up over this incident, and he should be. This is not a place that this happens, but it's everywhere now.
Hack on the idea.
Oh, shut up, lady. We've had enough of your ass.
Describe the weapon that you found next to it.
It appears right now we have a shotgun that was used, but we're still processing the scene.
So obviously a shotgun is not a sniper weapon.
Correct.
Do you know what kind of weapon that was?
Well, we're still processing the scene, but let me kind of set the scene for everybody. When you're in a rural area and you're heavily treed, heavily brushed, and when you're taking fire, then it just adds a whole different dynamic to the situation. So what was reported by people on scene, by peace officers on scene, that they believed they were taking sniper fire, yes. And that's where that is. Lady in the black.
Hi. Okay. So shotgun or not, it's still a weapon, and if you have slugs loaded into that thing.
Did you go over what happened?
I'm not
what
there
you
yet.
did? Okay.
No, I'm going to. I'm trying to cover the things that are most current, so people can get an update in case they got to go.
Got it.
I will tell you this: it depends what type of ammunition he's got in there. It depends what type of shotgun it is. I don't know. Shotgun does not sound like particularly the weapon, but people are thinking of bird shot or scatter shot or buckshot. But if he's using slugs, that shit will go through an engine block. So, we don't know what he's using. Does it sound right to me? No, but I'm not there, and I'm not going to assume I do know and base it on the fog of war that we're going to find out. What this person did, it's believed that he set a fire to entrap the police officers. The firefighters, and then opened fire when they arrived. And like I said, they're not referring to his gender. The reaction has been absolutely palpable. The officer the sheriff actually talks about it, talking about being tracked down. Here's an update on this.
Trying to make heads and tails out of what was occurring. And during this time, we exchanged gunfire with the suspect. And we
don't have video.
We also got information. We received information from the White House, from Kash Patel, the FBI, from Governor Brad Little, and also Raul Labrador, that anything that we needed, that they would absolutely respond. So we had a lot of assets that came into that command post. And then we had a briefing about 6:30, about 18:30 hours at the command post. And in that briefing, we kind of gave an update to the agencies that this is still an active shooter. And that as soon as this individual could be neutralized, that he should be neutralized and the threat should be eliminated as quickly as possible. At approximately 1940 hours, we did have information that let me back up just a second. We had a cell phone activation that was in the same spot since about 3:16. And that it was in the same area. And we honed in on that cell phone, and we saw that there was a male, appeared to be deceased, with a weapon nearby. So we have
Thank you, Rob.
currently
you have a good
one
week too, buddy.
dead shooter. Based on the preliminary investigation that was being conducted, keep in mind we had a fire that was rapidly it was approaching the body, so we had to scoop up that body, and we had to transport that body to a different location. But based on the preliminary information, we believe that is the only shooter that was on that mountain at that time. So there is no threat to the community at this time. Based on the trajectory and based on the type of weapons that this individual had that we could recover, we believe only the one shooter. We did.
So interesting. The 911 call, I really don't want to play it. I'll play it. I don't take any. Listen, you can imagine the scene. It's going to be. Is that Thunder?
No,
Black
that's
Hawks.
next door.
Is that Black Hawk or?
No, that's next door.
That's motorcycle.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so here's the 911 call. I don't. Yeah, I'll just play it.
BC 5. Central BC 5. Central BC 5. BC 5 off state. Send law enforcement right now. There's an active shooter zone. They're shot. BC 3's down. BC 1's down. Everybody's shot up here. Law enforcement. Code 3 now up here. 551. 10 or 14 up here. Stop. Get out of the way. 10 or 14. Engine push 551. Do not come up here. 51 copies. Remain in staging.
Some sort of legislation will be proposed that you should arm firefighters. I think you should. In this day and age, I think anyone, even ambulance drivers, should be armed and trained. This shit is getting out of hand. And yeah. There's rumors that this guy wanted to be a firefighter and then he was rejected. I don't know any about that. I'm not going to speculate why a crazy person did this because I'm not crazy and I can't fucking get in these people's minds. The one common thing between all these people is they're all fucking insane. Every single one of them. They're all a bunch of weak, privileged little fucks that couldn't make it in society and cope with the things that life handed them. And whether it was abuse or whether it was getting a BMW or whether they couldn't make their dick work, they all decide to go ahead and snap and take it out on people who did absolutely nothing to them. I wish he was alive. I really do. And if it was a suicide, it's a shame, because I'll tell you, if I was an officer and I saw one of my brothers go down, I don't know. It just doesn't make any sense. You can't make sense of these things because they're nonsensical. This was done on the major freeway. Beautiful. We're just going to take a moment and let this play. Sorry, I'm not going to play the audio on this. So terribly sad.
Was that in Idaho that
Yeah.
they did that?
When officers.
Yeah. Here's another story. Of course, CNN.
Out of Idaho, we have been following developments throughout the day of firefighters being ambushed when responding to a call for a brush fire in a local park there. What you're seeing now, we're told, is a procession coming out of that park. We saw at least one vehicle that appeared to be a hearse. You see people there, of course, waving flags, standing, lining the route there. There had been, we were told a number of hours ago, an active shooter who they believed was on the loose. We do know at this hour that a body was found on the mountain, a firearm found nearby. It is not clear whether that was the suspect. But just to recap of how we got to this moment, that there is now this procession leaving the park, all of these law enforcement vehicles, as you can see. You see the fire trucks there as well. And again, we saw just a short moment ago what appeared to be at least one hearse. A little after 1 o'clock local time, there was a call of a brush fire. Firefighters responded, and then another call came in at 2 o'clock of firefighters reporting that shots had been fired. 2 firefighters were told were killed. A third, according to a firefighters union, is in the hospital now in surgery. The sheriff, just within the last couple of hours, holding an initial press conference, confirming those 2 deaths, saying it was unknown whether there could be other casualties or civilians who could be stuck on the mountain. And at that time, again, just a few hours ago, the sheriff is saying that they were actively taking sniper fire, noting that they were prepared to neutralize the suspect, who appeared to be using, in the words of the sheriff, a modern-day sporting rifle, a high-powered rifle. Not long ago, I spoke with a local reporter who's based out of Spokane, Washington. That's only about 30 miles away, and this is essentially the same media market. She was telling me she's with the spokesman.
So once again, CNN's running the initial report like they always do, but they're not talking about the gender of the shooter. So we know. It doesn't matter if this is a Trump supporter. It doesn't matter if this is a liberal. All sides have crazies.
It shouldn't matter what somebody's political affiliation
No, they're all fucking
is
crazy
when they do something like this. Why does it have to come down to that? Like, it's ridiculous. They're all nuts, and they should have been hospitalized.
To answer somebody's question, I was recognizing the other officer who was killed today in Milwaukee, Corder. He's unrelated to the incident. He was a police officer in Milwaukee, also with the 2 firemen. So was just recognizing that he lost his life today, just FYI. Listen, there's the one thing I have learned about this is you can't make sense to it. And, you know, you can sit here and say, well, they were trans or whatever, or it doesn't matter. The one thing that they have in common outside their political affiliation or their sexual disposition is they're all fucking nuts. So that's what it is. I'll tell you, I love living where we live, and I feel like we are on the last bastion of freedom on earth. Because Idaho was a place I wanted to go to, because it's somewhat close to Colorado, not horribly far away. And, you know, we'd head down south and go to Colorado, but you can't go there now either. It's everywhere. And it seems like this little town that we live in is free from this shit. And I'm not going anywhere. I don't care how expensive this house gets. We will find a way to pay it. And we're staying right here until we're in a motorhome and I make that thing into a bulletproof armored vehicle like from Stripes. The RV 570 or whatever it was.
I don't know. I don't remember watching that movie.
RD 1090. Oh my God, if I remembered that. Oh my God, what was it? The EM50 urban assault vehicle. Shit. EM50. RD 1090 was Provasic, was the medicine that they used in Fugitive.
Oh, okay.
Provasic. That was it. Don't ask. I don't know where this shit comes from. Anyway, we've got our minute. I want to thank everyone who donated, everyone who had a chance to donate. Thank you so much for helping us hit goal.
Yes, appreciate it. Thanks for a great last day of the month.
Happy July 1st tomorrow, folks. We've got some busy stuff ahead. Who's on tomorrow, Libby?
Just you and Leroy and possibly a guest. We got to figure that one out.
Who's the guest?
That dude from Texas.
Oh, okay. So we'll see if that comes to fruition.
Yeah, we'll talk about this after we get off the air.
So we're also trying to, we're still working on Ted Nugent.
Yep.
We're working, we know Damani, T.S. Dixon. It's, you know, we just got the set built. So we're trying as fast as we can to get some groups in here. And it's just a matter of lining some things up. So we appreciate you very much. We love you guys. We can't thank you enough. Please do me a favor, go over and give Still Point some love.
Yeah, let me post that real quick. Make sure I've got the right link.
And I think we're going to post it on the website tomorrow morning or later tonight and just have people go and vote and get as many votes as we can. Here is the link. If you have not had a chance, go to thedumbshow.com and get yourself a shirt, some hats, whatever you want. And we've got some great coffee over there too. We have 5-star rating on that site. All of our stuff, everyone will tell you that our stuff is awesome. We've never had a return. Everyone loves our shirts and our stuff. So if you haven't had a chance to go over there, please do it. Damani Bryant Felder. Yep. We're going to get Damani on. We're working on it. We're also working on a collab, Damani and I, and we're going to get set up where our pages are going to be able to share on each other's stuff. So that's going to be great. Liv?
Yeah,
Did you get the link for Nick?
I'm thinking. Yep. Okay. So this is it.
Okay, Liv's gonna. Why don't you send it to me because yours doesn't work?
Yep.
Oh, your feed pic just keeps popping up. This is. I already got it, Liv. Too late. Too slow, Joe.
All right.
Go and vote for Nick, please, and Still Point. I'm looking for the thing. Here it is. You guys got it. So if you could go and vote, and we'll post it up on the site. We appreciate you guys so very, very much. We'll see you tomorrow, 7:00. God bless. Take care. And we will see you tomorrow. See ya.
Night, y'all.
Bye.
Adjusting transmitter output.
This is the Don't Unfriend Me Show with your hosts, Matt.
Good night, Jen.
Roy, Amy, and Olivia. Geopolitics, military analysis, and election coverage. Coming to you live on all major social media channels at The Dumb Show.
We're leaving now.
Honest, direct, unfiltered. We can agree, we can disagree. Just don't unfriend me.